Hi, and welcome back to Joel's DIY. Back again with another video. And today we're going to tackle a DIY project. And I'm basically going to show you how to turn this video cassette into a USB. So basically, we're going to turn an analog signal into a digital signal. Now, this isn't anything new to most people who have been wanting to convert their VHS tapes to digital. I mean, there's plenty of products out there, capture cards, etc. Now, my problem with that is it's always been that the files tend to be enormous. I mean, we're talking about 8 to 12 gigabytes for maybe, a 2 hour to an hour video recording, which is kind of inconvenient. It makes it very difficult to want to edit because the computer is trying to analyze all that data and such. And what I've also found is that you don't get much of a better signal through those avenues because the quality is going to be very similar. I found that if you can get the file to be as small as possible without losing any quality, you might get a decent signal and a decent file size that is more manageable for you to be able to edit and fix up and touch up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be converting a VHS tape with this device right here. Let me see if I can get a better angle on the camera here. Okay. This is the iRecord. This is, it's not a new device. I mean, I think I had it for a couple of years already. And this by far has been the most effective way to, transfer my files from VHS over to digital. So we're gonna go ahead and set that up. Now, one question you might be asking yourself, like, why would I want to do that? I don't have many VHS tapes. Well, another reason to do that is because once in a while, if you're a thrift store collector like myself that likes to visit thrift stores and finds all kinds of quirky and unusual things, you might come across videotapes that never got a DVD release or aren't available in digital form. One being, I recently came across this box set. It's a really good documentary about Mexico, and I've not been able to track this down on DVD. It came out around 1999, which is more than 20 years ago. So it's not likely that it's ever going to get a DVD release because History Channel always makes new documentaries all the time, so they don't really re-release the old stuff that often. So this is another reason why you might want to consider this to make the conversion. So moving forward, we're going to go ahead and take a look at my setup, what kind of VCRs I use, and then we're going to go ahead and do some. I'm going to show you, what it looks like on screen with my, after I've downloaded it digitally. So you should get a pretty good idea what quality you're going to get from this device. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So these are all the items that you will need in order to make your VHS to digital conversion. Obviously, you'll need a VHS tape that you want to convert, and you want a formatted USB, formatted it up to FAT32. That's the way to go. This one's an 8 gigabyte USB drive, and that should work for this. This is the iRecord, the device that I'm going to be using for the conversion. It's got two different inputs. It's got the S-Video and the composite one. It should work great, and we will be taking samples from both just because I'm able to. And this is the JVC Super VHS ET. This is a reasonably newer VHS player. This is the model HR-S3800U. You want to get yourself a VHS player that is reasonably new. I would not go for like an older model. Problem with those is that you're gonna get problems with tracking. Sometimes the the stereo mono doesn't seem quite to work correctly, and you want to get a clear audio signal along with your VHS to make the conversion the best possible quality. So definitely you want to go with something newer. You're going to definitely need the cables. Now, since I am going to be using S-Video and I have a VHS player that's capable of outputting through S-Video, you're going to need those cables. So here's my S-Video cable right here. I've had this for a few years already. You can see the 4 pins plus the ground in there. And you will also need your audio outputs from the VCR over to the iRecord device. The other option is just to use a regular component cable, which is they're pretty common, and you would just plug it in the right place on the device. So this is basically all that you need in order to make this work. I'm going to go ahead and connect all the inputs here. I'll start with the S-Video since I'm going to be using that to do my sample. And we'll just go to the rear of the VCR. And it's very important to not forget to plug in the audio, because you're definitely going to need it for the conversion. Otherwise, you will not get any sound in the recording. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. You always want to double check your connections, make sure that they're right. And then we're going to go ahead and just plug everything into the output of the device. Okay, so that's basically my setup. Next, I'll go ahead and turn on the device, and there should be a light flashing. Make sure that the light is on. And then the next step is to plug in the USB. Right now there's kind of like a reddish, greenish light there because there's nothing in the USB port, but once we plug one in, as so, we should get a green light, a solid green light, and that should let us know that the device is ready to record. Okay, once it's green, that'll be our sign to get it ready to record. So here I'm going to use an old tape from a camcorder from a trip from back in the 90s that I would like to rip from this VHS tape into a digital form. Yeah, so these tapes are old, so you can't go wrong with going with a newer VHS player that is capable of making the adjustments to get it to work right as far as tracking and everything. So all you got to do now is just push the button, and the button will blink red. Okay, and once that is on, then all you have to do is sit back and wait for the machine to finish up. One thing to remember is that once you're done with the recording, you want to push that record button at the top again. And once it's had a chance to stop, it should go back to solid green. So as you can see, it's ready to be pulled out of the port. So we're going to go ahead and use this to get our samples from the S-Video and the component. And I will go ahead and upload those so that I can screen share them with you, and you can see the quality and the difference between the two. So stay tuned for that. So before I show the footage, I just wanted to kind of show exactly what I mean about the size of the files. So taking a look at the entire tape that I copied with the iRecord, you can see that it amounted to about 1 gigabyte, and that's about 2 hours of footage. I want to go ahead and just show you another window where I recorded something of a similar amount. Okay, so this is an old show from the early 90s that I recorded with my Roxio Pro capture device. And as you can see, let me see if I can pull up the properties here. This is about 8.15 gigabytes, and it's measuring at about, let me see if I can get something so I can get the, yeah, it's about an hour and 3 minutes, which is extremely a lot of space for just such a small amount of video. I mean, it's only an hour. So, you know, definitely the iRecord device is much better, and I really did not see a dip in quality. It's actually pretty accurate to what is on the VHS. It's not trying to do anything funny to it, or, you know, trying to embellish it in any way. So it gives you a lot of room to do that if you have your own video editing software. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at some footage. So as you can see, the lines are pretty sharp. You don't get much better quality than composite, to be quite honest, but the lines are sharper. So if you really want to see that detail, you can. This is one of my fondest memories from when I was a kid. I was approximately about 11 years old when my dad took us to Old Town San Diego, and back in the very early 90s, 1990 actually. And this is just some video from that trip. You know, we were looking at the blacksmith doing his thing, and you can see the detail. Now let's go over and switch over to composite. Now you can actually see that the lines are, where the detail is a little bit softer. And this was basically the setting that the original video was recorded on. You know, it was an old, you know, camcorder from the 1980s. So, you know, we don't have that all that neat technology that is available today. But you can see that the colors are about the same, but the images are a little bit softer. And we can go ahead and take another look at S video here. And you can see that the lines are a little bit sharper. And looks great. I mean, to be quite honest, I really can't complain about the quality of the image. And very fond memories of this trip. Really enjoyed my time seeing part of California history. And very happy that my dad was able to take us there. Here's another look at composite one last time. So I mean, essentially you have your options here, and if you have a VHS player that's capable of S video, and you want a sharper image, you could definitely do that. But I think composite will work just fine for this type of footage. So yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at some final thoughts. So as you can see, there are many benefits to using the iRecord device to capture old video from VHS. I mean, you got your options with if you want to do a super VHS capture, you can. It definitely permits you to do that with S video. Most of you will probably just use composite just because it's more readily available. I mean, you could always go to your local thrift stores and find, a VHS player for, $10 to $20. So maybe, that might be your best option. Overall, it was just a pleasure to go back in time and kind of see that old footage, and I hadn't had a chance to, get it in digital form. Now that most people don't own VHS players, it's hard to kind of show these videos, but I'm happy now that I can share with my family, and hopefully you'll be able to do the same if you're able to get a hold of this appliance. I'm not sure how easy it is to find anymore. I bought mine a couple of years ago. I'm sure you could probably still find some on eBay, but nonetheless, I would highly recommend you picking one up. There are very few downsides to getting this device. So the setup is pretty easy. I think probably the only minor would be that it's hard to see what's actually being recorded, since you're not able to look at the output because the output's going directly into the device. So there's no like screen that you can monitor the quality or anything going on. So That's kind of a downside, and I've experienced that. I've had to do a couple of re-recordings just because I didn't check my wiring correctly and I recorded it incorrectly. But other than that, I mean, it really, if you're careful about how you set things up, and if you make sure that your video is being displayed, maybe perhaps connecting it to a monitor just to see the quality, and then go into the iRecord, that might be your best option. Nonetheless, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.